The Church Growth and Giving Show, your resource for growing faithful communities. Brought to you by Vanco, helping tens of thousands of churches thrive for over 20 years. Join Jordan and Andy as they share insights drawn from decades of church giving and engagement expertise.
Jordan, have you noticed that a lot of church leaders are still leading their church, planning events and building community, but doing it all without ever looking at a dashboard or any kind of feedback?
It's a formula for getting off track. They go off instinct. What feels right, what they think attendance was like last month. There's heart in that approach, but data and real church metrics give you the clarity to move from guessing to guiding.
It's not just about counting heads and pews or the number of offering envelopes either. It's the bigger picture. Who's showing up consistently? Are your volunteers feeling energized or are they vanishing without a word?
Those are the right questions to ask. Metrics reveal trends that intuition can't. And the beautiful part is, it's not about being corporate or cold, it's about caring better. When you understand how your church is functioning, you're pastoring more intentionally.
Let's break it down. Where do you even start if you're a church leader wanting to track meaningful growth?
The big ones are attendance, giving, engagement, volunteer participation, and visitor retention. Those 5 give you a foundation. From there, you can start digging deeper and asking better questions.
Attendance. That seems straightforward. You just count how many people show up, right?
It's deeper than that. You want to know who's attending. Are families attending consistently? Do people drop off after big holidays? Is there a shift in when or how they engage? Like, are more folks attending online than in person?
That makes sense. You're not just counting, you're tracking patterns. And if something shifts, it's a signal.
Say you see a big spike on Easter, then numbers tank the next few weeks. That might point to a follow-up issue. Maybe your church isn't closing the loop with visitors, or people don't feel connected enough to come back.
What about giving? Is that another indicator of attendance?
It can be, but giving also speaks to trust and buy-in. When giving drops, you might assume fewer people are attending, but it might also mean people are unsure about where their donations go, or they're not inspired by the vision.
Giving is an act of trust, isn't it?
It's huge. That's why tracking giving metrics, weekly patterns, online versus in-person giving, seasonal shifts, helps leaders plan better. If you see giving dip in the summer, for example, you can prepare, or maybe promote recurring giving to flatten those trends.
You know what's interesting? A lot of leaders see these numbers and think it's just about budgets. But this is ministry health we're talking about.
That's the heart of it. Numbers tell a story. If giving is steady, but engagement in small groups is falling, what does that mean? Maybe people are committed financially, but disconnected socially. Maybe they're donating, but not volunteering. You can't solve what you don't see.
Which brings us to engagement.
Engagement shows if people are involved beyond Sunday mornings. Are they in Bible studies? Are they attending midweek events? Do volunteers feel equipped and appreciated or overlooked and burnt out?
And that's one of the scariest things. Burnout nobody sees coming. Someone's there every week until they're not.
Tracking volunteer retention helps spot that. If people are dropping after a few months, that's not a fluke. It's a signal. Maybe they didn't feel recognized. Maybe expectations weren't clear. Data gives you a place to start the conversation.
Some pastors feel overwhelmed just thinking about collecting this kind of data. They'll say, "We're a small church. We don't have a tech team or a fancy system." What do you say to that?
You don't need anything elaborate to begin. Even a basic spreadsheet can help. But if you're looking for something more robust, church management software makes a big difference. There are platforms designed for churches of all sizes. Some even offer free tiers or low-cost options to start.
Do you have any examples?
ACS Technologies, Church Windows, or Ministry Platform. Then you've got giving platforms like Vanco, which integrates with more than 60 of these systems. That connection lets you track online donations, volunteer engagement, and attendance, all in one place.
That's a lot more efficient than digging through multiple folders and sticky notes.
And way less stressful during budget season. Instead of scrambling to explain trends, you're presenting them clearly. It changes the whole conversation and moves you from defense to strategy.
You mentioned benchmarks earlier. How do churches know what healthy looks like?
Start by looking at your past data. What were your numbers last year for giving, attendance, and small group involvement? Then, look at churches that are similar in size or demographic and compare, not competitively, but contextually.
And then what? Do you just set a number and hope for the best?
You set goals, but make them realistic. Say you had 30 first time visitors last quarter and 6 returned. Could you aim for 10 retained next quarter? That's measurable progress,
Checking in once a year won't cut it, though.
right? Review key metrics monthly. Maybe not everything at once, but have a rhythm. Think of it like a physical checkup. Don't wait. Stay ahead of issues.
What about visualizing the data with charts and dashboards to help see trends way faster than raw numbers?
Visual tools show you what words can't. If small group attendance is steadily falling, you might not notice it week to week. But a line graph over 6 months tells a different story.
The point is to act, right?
Yes, and that's where most churches trip up. They track data, but don't do anything with it. If your dashboard shows that young adult participation is low, ask why, listen, and adjust. The data should inform ministry, not just sit in a file.
Can you give an example of a church that put this into practice?
Faith Point UMC is a great one. They wanted to boost giving, but didn't know where to start. After tracking their metrics and shifting to e-giving with a focused strategy, online donations increased by 70%. Their overall giving rose by 20%.
That's impressive. Did that growth help them invest in more outreach?
It did, and it relieved the stress of always wondering if they'd meet their budget. They had clarity. Then there's Experience Church in Ohio. They noticed more people attending, but giving wasn't increasing. Instead of hoping it would balance out, they leaned into digital giving. Within 5 years, their budget doubled.
That's intentional leadership powered by clear insights.
That's it. They didn't wait for a crisis, they read the signals early and responded. And the thing is, any church can do this. You just have to look.
That brings us to a challenge we hear all the time: resistance to change. People hear new system and push back.
It's not uncommon for leaders or members to worry that tracking numbers means caring less about people. But it's the opposite. Good metrics help you care better. If someone hasn't shown up for 3 weeks, that's a chance to check in and show care.
And when someone logs that data, it isn't just about a spreadsheet. It's about seeing the story behind the numbers.
Behind every data point is a person. And when you're tracking well, you're seeing them more clearly. Whether it's a volunteer who's pulled back or a new visitor who never came back, the numbers give you a chance to respond with intention.
That makes a strong case for tracking visitor retention. A lot of churches are great at welcoming people in, but what happens after the visit?
That's where the real work begins. Visitor metrics tell you how many first timers come back and eventually join. If you're seeing a pattern of low retention, maybe follow up emails need to be more personal, or maybe there needs to be a newcomer's lunch. The fix doesn't have to be complicated, but it does have to be responsive.
A church that follows up the next day with a call and a handwritten card makes a huge impression.
That's what thoughtful follow up can do. It's about creating connection. Metrics reveal where that connection might be breaking down.
Let's talk about volunteer data. That's another blind spot. It's easy to assume someone's still serving until you realize they've slipped away.
Volunteer participation and retention are two of the most overlooked metrics in ministry. If someone signs up and disappears within 3 months, that's a problem. But it's also an opportunity. Maybe they didn't feel trained. Maybe they weren't sure where to go. Tracking helps prevent burnout and keeps people engaged long term.
And it shows people they're seen and appreciated.
Think about it this way. When a volunteer logs 30 hours in a quarter and you celebrate that at a team meeting, what message does that send? It tells them, we appreciate you. Metrics create those moments.
What if someone's listening and thinking, this all sounds great, but our data's a mess? We're not sure where to begin.
Start small. Pick one area. Attendance, giving, volunteer hours. Clean that up first. Then layer on more. Don't try to track everything at once. And if your records are inconsistent, now's the time to fix it. Reliable data builds confidence.
That's practical. And for those resisting change, because they feel overwhelmed by all of this, What should they remember?
That tracking metrics isn't about reducing ministry to numbers. It's about revealing the unseen. It's about meeting needs before they become problems. Change might feel uncomfortable, but clarity is worth it.
One final question. What's one tool or system you'd recommend for a church just stepping into this?
Vanco is a great place to start. Their church giving dashboard ties everything together: attendance, giving, and volunteer data in one spot. It's designed to make decisions easier, not more complicated.
I read that in their benchmark study, churches using their system saw online donations grow by over 150% in 5 years. That's sustainable growth.
That kind of insight helps churches reach more and lead better. It's not just about knowing what happened last month, it's about planning for next year with confidence.
To anyone listening who's felt like they've been leading blindfolded, this is your call to start seeing clearly. The numbers are there, they're telling a story, and your ministry needs to hear it.
If you're ready to start, pick one metric, track it for 30 days, then look at what it tells you. Small steps can lead to big changes, and clarity, that's the beginning of growth.
Thanks for joining us today on the Church Growth and Giving Show. Hopefully, you feel better equipped and inspired to put metrics to use for your church. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more great content like this to help you lead your church with purpose and clarity. See you next time.